Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan Weibel here with Politics with Jonathan, and I told you all I'd be doing an episode every other day from now on. And I want to remind you all before I get started to please like and subscribe, and because every view, every like, and every subscription we get increases the amount of people that will be able to come along this journey with us and be able to see unbiased election predictions and analysis. So, you may all be asking, Jonathan, why are we looking at the 2014 Senate election in North Carolina? Well, because we're going to be looking at the 2026 Senate election in North Carolina. So, to start off, to give a bit of pretext to what we're going to be discussing, Tom Tillis was running against Kay Hagan, the incumbent senator from North Carolina who was elected in 2008 and who defeated Elizabeth Dole, who was also the senator from North Carolina before that point and wife of Bob Dole. So if we look at this race, Tom Tillis wasn't doing the best in the polls. Kay Hagan was beating him for the majority of the polls, and it seemed like she would be able to retain her seat. But the Republicans massively overperformed in the 2014 Senate elections and House elections. They gained 9 seats in the Senate, regaining their Senate majority, and they gained 16 seats in the House. So Tom Tillis ended up defeating Kay Hagan by about a point and a half. So if we look here, 6 years later, Tom Tillis is running for re-election against Cal Cunningham, who was a state senator from 2001 to 2003. Um, if we look here, yeah, Cal Cunningham was doing much better in the polls than Tom Tillis, as we can see throughout this entire race. Cal Cunningham was up by about a 3-point margin, but he had a pretty bad scandal, which was, I believe he committed adultery on his wife. Um, and due to that, Tom Tillis majorly overperformed, along with Trump majorly overperforming what the polls said. So Tom Tillis won re-election by about a 1.75 margin, I think it is. So now we need to go to 2026. In 2026, Tom Tillis was initially running for re-election, but he opposed President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, so President Trump said that he would support a primary challenger for Tom Tillis. And basically, if Trump supports a primary challenger for you, you're almost certainly going to be primaried out. So Tom Tillis the next day decided to not run for re-election. That was June 29th. So as of now, the Republicans look like they're going to be nominating Michael Whatley, the former chair of the Republican National Committee from 2024 to 2025. And the Democrats, initially, they looked like they were going to be nominating Wiley Nickel for this seat, who was representative from 2023 to 2025, who did not run for re-election because North Carolina redrew its maps and drew out his district and made it a more Republican-friendly district. Um, so now it's going to be Roy Cooper, the former governor of North Carolina from 2017 to 2025, running against Michael Whatley. And this race is definitely going to be a very interesting race here. Roy Cooper, at least from what we've seen, has been a pretty popular senator. Okay, there we go. I thought I had it. I accidentally went backwards there. But as of July 2025, the most recent poll I could find, Roy Cooper has a 52% approval rating, which in a divided North Carolina, quite good. Um, And something you all should know about Roy Cooper is Roy Cooper has been in politics since. Oh, hold on. I can find him. Since 1987, I believe. Yeah, he's been in politics for a long time. He was the Attorney General of North Carolina, and in his last term as Attorney General, he won 100% of the vote. He is a very strong candidate. He ended up defeating Pat McCrory in 2016 by a 0.22% margin. And Michael Watt isn't no slouch either. Michael Watley, of course, was to serve the RNC from March 2024 to August of 2025, and he resigned in order to run for the Senate race. But as we can see right now, Michael Watley has raised about 1.4 million as of September 30th, 2025, whereas Roy Cooper has raised an astounding 10 million, about 11 million as of September 30th, 2025, which is a pretty crazy amount so far. Um, and we should also look at some of this polling here, which Ray Cooper is leading by 5, 6, somewhere in that margin. Of course, I think that's going to shrink, and I think part of the reason he's leading by this much so early on is due to his name recognizability. Yeah. How many people recognize his name compared to Michael Watley, who hasn't really been in North Carolina that much? Ray Cooper does have a couple of things hurting him though that the right is definitely going to use. One of the things that is hurting him is there was this Ukrainian woman, I want to make sure I'm getting it right, that was on a bus tragically stabbed by this black male who stabbed her in the neck multiple times, and everyone just sat in their seats quietly and did nothing, and she slowly bled out to death on the train. Was an incredibly sad thing, and as we found out later, this person was actually released and he already had past charges on him. So I think once Watley really starts hitting on that, Cooper's numbers definitely will start to fall, but I think from what I've seen of Roy Cooper so far, he's being smarter with his messaging than I've seen a lot of Democrats be. Instead of focusing on these more cultural issues such as abortion and the LGBTQ movement, he's focusing more so on the economy and tariffs and insider trading and healthcare, which I think are the Democrats' stronger issues because when they're trying to talk about these things and for instance men and women's sports, which is an 80-20 issue, and they're continuously harping on that sole issue, it won't win over voters, specifically in a North Carolina that has a red tilt to it. So Cooper's being quite smart there, but Wantley also is hitting on the economy and talking about how he'll implement President Trump's, as he calls it, America First agenda. As of right now, from what we've seen of the polling and what we've seen of the candidates, I definitely think Roy Cooper has the slight edge here. Though I think as we get closer and closer to election day, this race will continue to narrow and narrow more. Because North Carolina has always been a more competitive seat, but also one with a red tilt. Um, and I definitely think when Michael Watley starts to hit Roy Cooper on these more social cultural issues, I definitely think you'll start to see him again in the polls. And also, I think when you have, what was I going to say? Um, when he starts hitting Roy Cooper more on this case with the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed, I definitely think it's going to cause him to drop, as well as the name recognition. He doesn't have much of that as right now. But I think this race could also come down to how popular President Trump is come mid 2026, late 2026. Because if his approval ratings in the mid high 40s, then yeah, I think Michael Watley will become the favorite for this race. But if Trump's approval ratings in the low 40s and even high 30s, I think Roy Cooper will more than likely win this race here. Um Overall, this is going to be one of the main three races we need to watch out for. The other two are Georgia and Michigan. And Maine, you could sort of say that, but Susan Collins is a very strong candidate that has always consistently heavily overperformed. So I'll leave that for another video. That's going to be an interesting race to look at. Um but I want to thank you all for whoever watched this video to the end, and I am very sorry for my mic issues before. I had no idea that at around the 20-minute mark that my mic went out. So I just want to fill you in on what I said about Michigan. I believed Michigan due to Mike Duggan. Honestly, it depends as to how well Mike Duggan ends up Please remember to like and subscribe, and for everyone who has seen this video, please consider spreading it to other people you may know so we can continue to get more people to come on this wonderful journey that we're embarking on. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, because Christmas is only a few days away. I'm really looking forward to it myself. Um, and by the way, since it's in the Christmas season, if anyone wants to comment in the comment section down below, tell me what your favorite part of Christmas is. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. It's spending time with family and it's giving gifts. It's really nice to see the reaction on people's faces when you are giving them their gifts. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.